Today we're going to be installing 2 rear windows in our '08 Sprinter and getting a little bit of help from Grace's dad.
Who's filming?
Yeah, go ahead. Take a...
I'm good.
Okay. Cutting the sides.
How come I don't hear
The
it?
bottom and leave the top for last.
Okay.
How come I don't hear nothing yet?
Gonna go for it.
Hey guys!
Awesome! Woo!
Yeah!
Look at that. Florida.
All right.
Nice little rainstorm.
So, what we're about to do now is file down these subtle pointy edges here that are left after we removed this whole metal section for the window, and just kind of prep this area before we put the window on. So make it nice and smooth, and then we'll put some Pore 15 rust prevention on there, and then later on we'll have some edge molding that we'll attach. I'm trying to open this can of Pore 15 that I sealed really well, and I can't even get it open now because somehow whatever was inside bubbled up.
There you
Sealed
go.
it on top of, and it's just a pain in the ass. Everything about this is a pain in the ass.
We're out of gloves. I poured the primer into a plastic cup like
Most
this.
of the time when you're working on a van, it sucks and you're in a bad mood. And then there's, when you're happy and you're enjoying it, that is the exception. Sorry to interrupt you. What were you saying? So we went ahead and prepped this window for the adhesion to the van. Alright, so we just finished one whole window installation in the van today, and we want to talk about some lessons that we learned and some nifty tricks that we picked up along the way. Do you want to start off?
Sure. So the first kind of delay that we ran into was we only had one blade for our jigsaw and we broke it pretty quickly. Some of the turns on the window are a little bit rough to take, so definitely start out with multiple blades for your saws. Another thing that we realized, this might be kind of obvious, but definitely get more gloves than you think you need.
I always think that I'm not going to get anything on my hands and like, oh yeah, I know now. I know this time. I'm gonna be super careful. And I just get covered. I'm wearing gloves by the end of the day, and I'm over it.
Speaking of skin coverage, another lesson we learned.
Yeah, so as I was cutting a window out of the van door, I just had like a sleeveless shirt on, and all the little metal fragments from the door were being kicked back at me and just pelting my arms, my bare forearms. And I didn't think much of it at first. I just kept going. And then I had to stop for some reason. I looked down and I had all these little like red droplets like coming out. It looks like kind of like someone had sprayed my arm with like red food coloring. All these little droplets all over, and I realized it was just blood. All these little micro cuts in my arm. I think, you know, you can't underestimate PPE. Just have a long sleeve shirt as you're cutting into metal.
We first, you know, when we first took the windows out of the box and we kind of held them up and checked for fit, we noticed that a few things were going to be a little bit off, and we think it's because we have a 2008. It has some miles on it, and so maybe the doors are a little bit warped. And as you probably saw in the video, when we finally went to put the window up, it didn't fit quite right. We had to use more clamps than we expected. So lesson learned, have more C-clamps than you think you need, and even have some 2x4s or plywood around if you need to extend the clamps and make them longer so that they can reach and apply pressure kind of across the window.
Anything else?
Be prepared for it to take longer than you think,
Yeah.
but I think that's kind of standard. We had to stop a couple times because we're in Florida and it can go from sunny to stormy in an instant and back again, so that happened a few times.
Say any van work you're gonna do, figure out how much time it's gonna take you to do it when you're planning, and then multiply it by 2. Just multiply it by 2. I think that does it.
Yeah, I think overall it went really well. We're still waiting to see what the final product looks like. Right now everything's covered in clamps and wood and newspaper, but we're gonna let it continue to adhere and check back in, and we'll do the second window probably tomorrow.
Yeah. It's the next morning after we put the window in, and here it is in all its glory. So
Adds character.
no, it's not perfect, but it's okay.
Hey, but it looks awesome once you open the door. Yeah, it looks really good inside, I think.